The weather dictates what can be done on the allotment, and the weather in February followed on with much of the same that was experienced in January. There was either fog in the morning or frost, which then in February cleared to bright sunny afternoons. The main difference was an increase in light, allowing me to carry on with infrastructure works, which was at least depositing 1 bag of wood chip per day. The small gate was brought from home and placed on trestles and painted on one face, and then the next day turned over and painted on the other face. And to utilise remaining time, a general weeding operation or similar minor works was carried out. Next day, the paint being fully dry, the post was placed in the hole and a brace placed on, attaching it firmly at the back, with an F-clamp to firmly attach it to the post temporarily. On the right hand side, a temporary lat was positioned and then the gate securely fastened with an F-clamp. Gates securely fastened, we can now ram the base of the post firmly with soil. The work on the gate was actioned over a period of 3 days, and to complete the day's work on each visit, I painted the remaining posts to the boundary fence. The brace was removed and the F-clamp, but not the spacing piece, and the hinges were then screwed to the main post. Hinges firmly fixed, the spacing lat and removed together with the F-clamp, and we can now test the gate to be open, and it moved quietly, easily, and this is a job well done. I can now get on with the important work of preparing for spring planting, and I removed the cardboard that was on raised bed 1 just to see the condition of the soil. I was quite impressed by it. This is surely the benefits of an OD. This is my oldest bed, raised bed number 1, and it's never been dug, and the continual topping up with compost has meant that this bed needs raising again, which I carried out. But I couldn't help worrying about the other beds where the bases were becoming rotten, and I thought I really should, when I did this originally, have protected the raised bed timbers on the inside face, and I thought this is a job I really must do, and do it now while I've still got the time and the ability. A quick point on the weather: the day after I raised that bed, it rained, and it rained all day. I still hadn't secured the ends, so on the next day after the rain, this is what I did: I nailed them down secure, after which I proceeded to inspect and see what the state of the base timbers were. My fears were well founded, and I decided that I must dig this trench and put in the plastic. My assessment was that the deterioration was such that I could save them, so I continued to excavate the next trench. I have to say I did not record the excavation, as I considered time was the essence, a wrong assumption. The effort I put in was wasted, as the next day I was in no condition to do any work on the allotment, despite the good weather, plus a telling off from my good lady for overdoing it. This time I took a more casual approach with frequent breaks. Setting up the camera was as good as a rest, and I took a restful tea break to boot. Is shown here is the second half of the bed being excavated. It looks quicker on the film than actual, as I've speeded up the clip to save on viewing time, and when excavated at my own pace, the trench was bottomed up, ready to receive the plastic, firming it down as I proceeded with the feet. Using the tripod instead of handheld also shows up my disability of balance or vertigo and my need of support to assist my mobility. And as previously stated, when finished I sat down for a well-earned rest and a strong cup of tea, ready for the next day. Rest over, I got up and tidied the plot and proceeded home. But I must tell you that during the digging, what I found was some gorgeous worms, and this is just one of them, but there was quite a lot there. And I've got to tell you, this is the benefit of no dig. More of us should actually be doing it. 3 plastic bags were split and taken down to raised bed number 1. I hate getting down on my knees. 1, because bending down brings on the vertigo and I have a difficulty in getting back up again. The doctor who first interviewed me at the hospital told me that she had an allotment in Lewis and knew firsthand of the benefits to health and well-being. So her advice was, don't give up the allotment, make it more friendly, but get rid of that e-bike. Not only does that 2x2 hold down the plastic while stapling, but it's a great support for me to stand up again. And then another sit down. Plastic secured. Now for some backfilling, using the Canterbury hoe, again a useful tool for some support. The untouched soil is quite firm, so I think the shots of digging the trenches demonstrated the Canterbury hoe did not make any impression on the undug area, but moved and broke down the excavated soil back into the trench. To complete the backfill, the surface was raked over using a landscape rake, firming over the trench area with my size 9s and doing my version of a West Yorkshire clog dance. Formed the trenches and plastic protection on the raised bed on the following day. You've seen this work already, it's just a repeat. But it gives me the opportunity to discuss my raised beds. Firstly, it is not important to have raised beds. I have them because my plot has a distinctive slope. By raising the beds, it has enabled me to level my growing area. A level growing area retains water. As bending becomes more difficult, raising the growing level is, for me, beneficial. The size of a raised bed has only one rule on the dimensions, which is its width of 4 feet. I can reach the centre of a bed from the edge. The length is 12 foot, or to be precise 3.6 metres, which is a standard length of regularised building material and is therefore cheaper as it is mass produced and treated, and this gives me a surface area of 4.168, 1 inch thick, which is 2 bags of 50 litres, such as compost. And for this bed I'm looking for 3 inches. Carrying out this protective cover has destroyed the integrity of this bed's soil structure. If I had not carried out this work, I would not have laid cardboard or even the amount of compost of 6 bags. 2 bags would have been sufficient, probably from my own compost bin. I collected 3 bags of green compost from the recycling centre, 3 bags costing the same as 1 bag of commercial compost. I had already purchased 3 bags last year, which was still available for this bed, which I trolleyed down from raised bed number 2. The overwintering cardboard I had lifted previously was brought back and laid out, ensuring all edges were overlapped, continuing with a fresh supply of cardboard. Cardboard normally takes 8 to 10 weeks to rot away. All labels, staples, parcel tape removed. White-faced cardboard such as this is not preferred, but if it's all one's got, then use it. Up it on its way, a good dousing of rainwater. I weighted the cardboard down, as tomorrow, weather permitting, I will start to lay the compost. A simple operation of depositing the compost evenly over the cardboard, even more simpler if using only 2 bags or possibly 3. But the soil structure does need to recover. 1 spit wide trench does not seem to be a large amount, but when you add it up with all 4 sides, it's just half of the raised bed's total area. I didn't start the work until after lunch, as we had a hard frost in the morning. The afternoon, as on previous frosty mornings, was bright sunshine, but this afternoon it was also bitterly cold, and my hands began to become numb. When I got halfway with laying the compost, I quickly put on a pair of gloves. Half of producing this video was taken using still photographs and the occasional handheld iPhone. Using the tripod has extended the length of the video to 17.5 minutes, too long in my opinion for a YouTube video. Not a lot can be done about that for this video, despite speeding up the timing. My original intention was to issue an upload on a monthly basis, but I'll probably have to expand this now to shorter videos as a 2 or 1 week basis. Let's see how it develops. I have 4 rest periods in this take of 10 minutes, necessary for me, but it does slow down the progress. Okay, let's take the brakes off. Phew, that took my breath away. Well, that's it for February. Not done any work on the polytunnel. I had a problem with delivery of the rust protective paint. 3 cheers for Hermes delivery service. And what rust I had cleaned off, returned. Preparing for spring planting is paramount. Putting the poly on the back burner. Oh, incidentally, I used 7 bags of compost and I had to chase up an extra bag. All that's left for me is to say, hope you enjoy the video, take care of yourselves, taking all into consideration, hope to see you next month. Take care, bye!